I'm studying Gemara Masechet Moued Katan, Davav Amud Aleph, and there's a Shinui Girsat between Rabbeinu Hananel and the standard Vilna edition. So it's if you're either studying the sugya, you're not studying the sugya. If you're not studying the sugya, you're not gonna. There's no point, in my humble opinion, in listening to this quick note. But if you are studying the sugya, this will be a useful note. I'm going to explain the sugya according to Rabbeinu Hananel. Okay. So if you go to the top of the page, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 7 lines from the top of the page. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Masa even mesuyene tahteha tameh. If there's one stone with seed, under the stone is tameh, around the stone is tahor. Shetaim, you found 2 stones next to each other with seed. So obviously under each one of the stones, it's tameh. The question is, what's the law with the between the stones? So the answer is im yesh seed benehen tameh. Obviously the seed was put there to indicate that also between it's tameh. Im en seed benehen tahor. But if there's no seed between the stones, then under the stones is tameh, between the stones is tahor. Okay, simple until now. Simple now. The Girsah has ve'af agav deleka choresh, or like harisha. It should have been deleka harisha, but okay. The Girsah of Rabbeinu Hananel, I'm not going to get into the explanation of Rashi. You can look at Rashi and see what Rashi says. I'm just going to explain according to Rabbeinu Hananel, who says Heres. The Afal Gav Deleka Heres. Right? Afal Gav Deleka Heres, meaning there's no seed between the stones, you say it's tahor, although there's no Heres, even though there's no Heres. Because if there was cheres, that would be a siman that it's tahor, because then you would know that they were trying to build something there. So the cheres is like the mortar, maybe, like the clay. So they were building something, right? So they were building something because they were building something. That's why it's obviously tahor, right? The seed was there. They were building, who knows what, right? The point is that's the idea of cheres. So the Gemara says on the statement of Rav Yehuda, "Ve'afal gav deleka cheres." So when Rav Yehuda says benehen tahor, when there's no seed benehen tahor, it doesn't matter whether there was cheres and there was no cheres benehen tahor. How do we make this inference? By the way, because and for those of you studying Gemara with my father, you'll understand this very quickly. Emora darko lefaresh. If Rav Yehuda intended that if it's afal gav deleka cheres, if Rav Yehuda would have intended that, he would have been mefaresh. So that's how the Gemara can infer afal gav deleka cheres. For Rav Yehuda, the only issue is yesh or en seed benhem. That's all. Okay, now we have the baraita. V'hatanya masa even achat mesuyene tahteha tameh. Simple. Shetayim im yesh cheres benhem. Here explicitly, again, the standard Girsah is choresh, but okay, we're reading according to Rabbeinu Hananel. Im yesh cheres benehen tahor. So for this baraita, the issue is whether between the 2 stones, each one of the stones has a seed. Is between the 2 stones tameh or tahor? That would depend on whether there's cheres or not cheres. If there's cheres, but then we know the seed was put there somehow, some sort of building mark, right? And they put the cheres there, right? So it's so if there's cheres, so im yesh cheres benehen tahor. But if there's no cheres, then you have seed on each one of the 2 stones, and also in between the stones is tameh. So okay, so Rav Yehuda apparently contradicts the baraita. Amar Papa, achar keshasid safuch al rashehen umru delekan ulkan ika cheres benehen tahor de'emur mehamat cheres hu de'ikpil. Okay, so the baraita is dealing with a situation where there was a lot of seed on the stones, and it kind of like spilled over the sides of the stones. So now it appears that benehen tameh, that's why they put so much seed there, but there is a possibility that it was part of a building project, minor building, whatever they were building there between the stones, and therefore im yesh seed benehem. Then we say, no, the reason that there was so much, right, if between the 2 stones, there's cheres benehem, then we say that this is a type of binyan, and therefore it's benehem tahor. Im en seed benehem, im en cheres benehem, mechila, im en cheres benehem, yesh cheres benehem, en cheres benehem, im en cheres benehem tameh, and we say that what happened is there was a lot of seed poured on the stone and between the stones, but the seed eventually withered away. The hazakah, right? The hazakah assumption we make, and that's why benehem tameh, right? So there's no machloket between Rabbi Yehuda and the Baraita. Rabbi Yehuda was not talking about a case. They were talking about the case where the seed was on top of the two stones and wasn't spilled over the sides of the two stones. So that's why for Rabbi Yehuda, the only issue was whether yesh seed benehem or en seed benehem. Yesh seed benehem tameh, obviously, en seed benehem tahor. The Baraita was talking about the case where the seed was merudeh. There was a lot of seed going to the sides of the stone, so it seems like between the two stones may have been tameh, right? But we say no. If there was cheres benehem, then obviously this was a building project, and therefore benehem tahor. But if there's no cheres benehem, then we say benehem tameh, and it appears like they poured a lot of seed, and also they wanted to connect the two stones with the seed, but apparently it got worn away, and so that's why benehem tameh.